Hi, good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you for coming to this webinar. My name is Brian Dar. I am a solutions architect with Expium. I'm also a SAFe program consultant and an Atlassian certified expert. And today we are going to be learning about Jira Service Management for ITSM. So thanks for coming. This webinar is sort of a sequel to a webinar we did last week, which is Jira Service Management Fundamentals. And the difference between the two webinars is that that webinar covers all of the basic Jira Service Management stuff, like portals and customizing the portal and customizing request types and the difference between an agent and a customer and, like the language stuff on the back end, all of the, basically a generic service desk that you could make for HR or facilities or legal. And this webinar today is going to be very specifically all about all of the advanced ITSM specific features that Atlassian has put into Jira Cloud. So let's hop right in. Hopefully you're in the right place. And if not, stick around anyway, because hopefully you'll enjoy what we're learning today. So let me just cover really quick at a very high level the stuff that we covered last week to kind of catch you up if you didn't see that webinar. Also, we have some lovely project coordinators on the call who could possibly drop a link to that YouTube video in the chat as well, if we have that available. So Jira Service Management Fundamentals, basically all of the service management features are provided through a project type in Jira. And you get an unlimited number of free customers that can interact with you through a portal. And the exchange rate for that is you pay more for the agent licenses on the back end that are fulfilling those service requests, more than you would for a generic Jira software license. They give you a customized customer portal, prioritized customizable queues, SLAs. Jira Service Management also provides a connected knowledge base as well as automation for repetitive tasks. So for this webinar, we're going to be talking about, obviously, Jira Service Management as its own product, but we're also going to be looking at Insight, Opsgenie, Automation for Jira, and Statuspage. All of these are products that are owned by Atlassian now, and all of them are acquisitions by Atlassian in the last 5 years or so. So Insight is an extra database that gets added onto Jira. It is used for asset and configuration management, and that's actually why they call it everything in that database is an object, because it applies to both asset management and configuration management. Insight is native with and only available with Jira Service Management Cloud Premium and Data Center. You can find a lot of tables online that talk about the difference between free, standard, premium, and enterprise. And I guess it's also available with Jira Cloud Enterprise as well. But if you want this, you have to have either Jira Data Center or Jira Service Management Cloud Premium or Enterprise. Opsgenie is for alert and incident management, and we're going to dive into these tools too. So if it doesn't make sense yet, we're going to do nothing but live demos later on. So hopefully the internet keeps working. And Opsgenie is native with Jira Service Management Cloud Premium. It can also be a separate product for cloud, and it is a separate product for Data Center because there is no on-prem version of it. Automation for Jira is an automation engine. It is native with Jira Service Management Cloud, everything, I think, but if you get Cloud Premium, you get effectively an unlimited number of automations, and it is a separate product for Data Center. There's also other automation add-ons you can use, but this is primarily the one that we use with the ITSM suite. And then there's also Statuspage. Statuspage is it is a status page that lives out there on the internet. It's kind of like going to a website. It's like, is Twitter down? Is Facebook down? And it is for external and potentially internal customer communication about the status of the services that you provide. And that is a separate product as well. So Insight, Opsgenie, Automation for Jira, all of those show up with Jira Service Management Cloud Premium, which is the platform that we're demonstrating today. Statuspage is a separate product. All right, so today we're going to do a bunch of live demos, and if you think about the ITIL world and the service management world and the ITSM world, those all have service management, which includes asset management and also service configuration management, incident management, which has kind of a subset of the follow-up of problem management. It also has change enablement, knowledge management, and enterprise service management sort of within that ecosystem. Today, we're going to demonstrate service management and specifically asset management. We're going to demonstrate incident management, and we're going to demonstrate change enablement through the Atlassian cloud products. And I also saw that our project coordinators added into the chat the webinar video from last week, so thank you very much for doing that. And you will also receive in an email after this one a recording of this webinar as well, I believe. Before I dive into these demos, I just want to talk really quick about Expium as a company. We are a platinum solution partner with Atlassian, and that means that we are the highest tier of service provider for Atlassian products. And specifically, we operate within all of the core competencies of Atlassian, including ITSM, work management for all, cloud migrations, and agile at scale. And within those core competencies, we specifically specialize in training. So anything that you're looking at today or any other Atlassian product, we do public and private classes on them. We also do consulting, so implementations, upgrades, migrations, unique problem solving. And we also have a sister company called Oasis Digital that is a full stack development shop. And so if we can't find it in the tool, and if we can't find it in the marketplace, we can definitely build it for you. We've built custom skins on top of Jira Service Management. We've built custom UIs for everything else. It's, custom plugins, that kind of stuff. All right, so let's talk about our first demo. Asset and service management. Who is this product for? Well, specifically service teams and IT teams. And the challenge here is we want to be able to easily track and manage assets as well as services relating to those assets. And one of the problems that we see is that agents tend to deal with predictable tasks which consume their time and customers' time. It's also difficult sometimes to visualize and visualize assets and also configuration items within your infrastructure and the dependencies between them. And so many companies have an asset database, but that's usually in Excel, or it's not closely integrated with their service ticketing system, or both of those examples. So when this happens, the database is often not kept current. One of my coworkers had a previous employer who had everyone fill out an asset sheet every 6 months. And what we're going to show you today is a tool that keeps assets updated as the service requests come in. So the solution here is to use Insight, which is an asset and configuration management database that integrates seamlessly with Jira Service Management and is natively available in Cloud Premium and Data Center. And the tools we're going to use are Jira Service Management, Insight, and Automation for Jira. And specifically today, I'm going to show you an end-to-end example of a user who has a broken laptop. We're going to look at reporting that broken equipment, and then we're going to switch to an agent view to fulfill the request. So let me hop over here. All right. So here I am, a user logging into our company portal. And then in our company portal, I've got different service desks, facilities, HR, and IT. We also have some other webinars actually on building HR service desks and using Atlassian products for HR and facilities, which I'll talk about later. But here, as a user, I need IT help. So I'm going to log into my IT service desk. I'm going to notice right away that actually part of our future demo is there seems to be a problem with our systems right now. So already we're trying to head off tickets, but that has nothing to do with my broken laptop. So I'm going to come down here to computers, and I'm going to request a new laptop. And then I get this custom form here. And the first thing is who is requesting the laptop. That happens to be me. But if I was a manager, I could request this on behalf of somebody else. And now I'm going to choose the reason that I need a new laptop. In this case, my current equipment is damaged. Any details, doesn't need it. And here we see our first example of using the Insight database. On the back end, I've got a database of 4 supported laptops, 3 of which are currently active. And this field is pulling from that database of maintained laptop objects to give me the models that are available to choose. So in this case, I'm going to choose a 2020 MacBook Pro 13-inch and submit. And just a quick recap of service management portals in general. This is the customer view screen. So here I've got all the information that I submitted about the ticket. We can see that it's actually waiting for approval. I can see here that the status of the ticket is waiting for approval. I can turn on or off email notifications from this ticket now. I can cancel my request at any time. And then I can also share this request with other people, for example, my manager or my direct report if I'm submitting this ticket on their behalf. And then I can also, as a user, come up here and see all of my other requests outstanding as well. So let me flip to the back end now and take off my customer hat and put on my agent hat. So this is the Jira Service Management view screen. I think it's a little busy when you first look at it, but once you're used to it, it makes a lot of sense. It presents to you a lot of information, and it is also very configurable. So the position of most of these fields can be reconfigured by a project administrator. The first thing we see is the title of the request. And I see that I can go and hop back into the portal to look at it from the user's view. And then right here, I can see the chosen laptop model that the user chose. And so if I expand the details, we see it's MacBook Pro 13-inch. We know the vendor, we know the size, we know the CPU, the RAM, the storage. And already this is helping our agent because we don't have to go back and forth about the details. We had a published list of available laptops. We all agree on the specs. Done. Over here, we've got additional details about this request, who's the person fulfilling it, who's the reporter. And then also we've got 2 knowledge base articles that we could choose to share with them. It looks like neither one of these relate specifically to this request, but if we had one about what to expect when requesting a new laptop, that could appear here too, and I could easily share it with the customer. But really, the cool stuff going on in the background is below this. The first thing we see is actually up at the top. This is waiting for approval, and we need approval from Vicky Bottorff. Vicky is my user's manager in this demo instance, and so there was an automation that ran in the background upon ticket submission that figured out my user's department's manager and set them as the approver for this laptop. So Vicky got an email, and she can approve directly from that email for my new laptop if she wants to. The next thing that's happened is a second automation ran off in the background and figured out my user's currently assigned laptop, and it attached it to this ticket. So I've got this database, living off the back end that has all my laptops and stuff. And so here I've got my model, my laptop name, the serial number, and the warranty expiration date. So, hey, it's still under warranty. Great, we can send it in, and I can go get them another laptop if we need to. Meanwhile, a third automation has run and has automatically updated my asset database and set Brian's current laptop as damaged. So now I have all the information that I need as an agent to fulfill this request, which is pretty exciting. I think with these automations, we just saved everybody a ton of time. So let's fulfill that request. I can click here on an object graph and also find out more information about Brian. I actually kind of like the moving view more here. So here I got Brian, and if I double click on Brian, I can, and if I update some of my settings, I can see additional linked objects to Brian and other equipment that he might have. And I can also see other MacBook Pro features out there. I can see vendor relationships. So here, all of my objects are actually living in a relational database. But let's go ahead and find Brian's laptop, which is this one here. And let's go ahead and look at that laptop back in Insight. So this is specifically the object for the laptop. And we can see a history of what happened to the laptop. We can see connected Jira tickets to that laptop. We can see important dates about it. But I'm going to zoom out for just a moment and introduce you to this database formally. So when you hit Insight, and you get to it in Jira up here at Insight and then View All Object Schemas. And again, this is available if you're in Jira Service Management Premium. We have all these different what are called object schema. And in this case, I've got a configuration management database. I've got a CRM, customer relationship management database. I've got a list of employees. I've got a list of employee assets. I've got a local network discovery result, and I've got a bunch of services that my team supports. Let me just show you really quick in the CMDB, for example. This was the result of doing a network crawl, and it has pulled up all of the assets across my network. So I've got application services, databases, applications, licenses. All the information out there is living as known objects related to each other now. And so if I'm doing more like an IT operations thing, I can actually see the interconnectedness of my infrastructure. But that's not what we're doing today. Today, we are looking at IT employee assets. So here I've got a list of, well, kind of a folder tree. First, I've got all the hardware that exists in my company. And this is an admittedly small company. We only have 10 laptops, 5 monitors, and 9 phones, but it'll hold an excessively large number of objects for you. So I don't like this detail view here. I really prefer list views. So I'm going to switch to this. And now I see a list of all the laptops in our company. I can choose additional columns to see like who is the owner, for example. And actually, most importantly, I can also see, I can add location as well. So in order to fulfill this request, I know that Brian works in St. Louis because I can go look that up. And I could also have an automation add his office location as well, or his home address if necessary. And I can filter down all my laptops. I know that Brian requested very specifically a MacBook Pro 13-inch. I also know that Brian lives in or near St. Louis, so I'm going to filter down by location. And hey, it turns out that, just so happens for this demo, I've got a MacBook Pro 13-inch available in stock in St. Louis, and I can use this laptop to fulfill the request. Something else that we've done too is we've got a bunch of metadata on the back end, which I like. So I've got a growing list of locations, a growing list of vendors, and then I also have all of our supported hardware models here too. So as you saw in that field earlier, I've got my supported laptops. 3 of these are currently supported, and if I pull in the status field here, there we go. One of them has been retired, so it is no longer showing up on the portal. Let me check my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything in this demo. No, yeah, so that's how you can use Insight and Jira Service Management together to do equipment repair and replacement, empower your agents with the information they need, and also save a lot of time. Some ideas for other automation: you could update the status of a service if an incident occurs, and you can notify the service owner. You can auto-route Jira issues based on linked Insight objects. You can query Jira against linked Insight objects. We can say, find me the laptop models that have the most repair problems over the last 3 years. We can do asset depreciation automation. We can create a Jira ticket if an object in Insight's contract is due for renewal. There's all kinds of neat stuff. We can also query within Insight itself, as you saw, and we can also search Jira issues based on objects that are attached to them. So hopefully that was inspiring for you. We like to set these up for clients. I think they're usually pretty happy when they get this all connected. It's nice to not work in spreadsheets. All right, let's go to our next demo. The next one is all about incident management. All right, so who is this for? This is for IT operations. Incident management, let me get here, pain points, there we go. So what's the challenge? Many people have tools that don't talk to each other. They have a service desk, they have an incident management system, they have an alerting system. And what Atlassian does, and what Atlassian does really well, is bringing all those together in an interconnected way. Also, communication management is really important during an incident, and you need to communicate with both internal and external stakeholders, and that's usually managed across too many disparate systems. And lastly, sometimes it's just hard to configure tools. So the solution to this challenge of responding quickly, getting things back on track, and ensuring proper follow-up is to use a centrally managed alerting system, track deployments and service relationships, have an incident command center, and have integrated communications through that all. So in this case, the solution is Opsgenie, which collects and routes all of your monitoring tools to the appropriate people. It also has an online incident command center. And then we're also using integrated Jira Service Management and Statuspage. So let's hop right into that. And by the way, I saw there's a question. I'm not going to look at it yet because it's totally going to throw me off. But we're definitely going to have Q&A time at the end as well. All right. So in this situation, here I am as a user, and I can't access our company website. So I'm going to come to our IT Service Desk portal, and the first thing I can see here that I alluded to earlier is maybe there's a couple of problems already known out there, and I could go view our status page to find out what's wrong. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to submit a ticket because we all know people do that. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to report a system problem. And what is my problem? Well, specifically, the website is down. I can't see anything. So next, I can choose what services are affected. So in this case, the website is the service that I know is affected, and it's critical, and it's an extensive, widespread problem. All right, my ticket is submitted. So now, as an agent, I'm on the back end here. I'm going to refresh my queue. And now I see I've got 3 different tickets going on here. Website is down, can't log in, website is down. Clearly, Brian's been busy reporting things, but let's assume that this came from a bunch of other people. So because there are 2 other related tickets, I can grab these 2 tickets and I can link them, and I can say these are caused by, and then let's go with ITSD 212. Oops. Yeah, there we go, 212, website is down. So now I've got all these issues linked, and this most recent ticket, this is kind of the master ticket. And I can set up automation in the background that will automatically close with a comment all of the related child tickets, as it were. They're not really children, they're just linked, but you get the idea. When you get a whole bunch of tickets created, it's really nice to be able to bulk close those. All right, so let's see. So now I'm gonna hop into the master ticket, and we're gonna see what's up. So the first thing that happens is we can see that we've chosen an affected service. And I'm going to talk about services later, but services are these objects that live over an Insight, but they relate to Jira Service Management, and they relate to Opsgenie. They're sort of the thread that makes all of this work. There's even an element that connects to code repos with Bitbucket, for example. So here I can see the affected service that I chose. I can see it's critical and widespread. And I can also see right away that there are open incidents going on here. And hey, there happens to be an open incident, this very ticket against this website saying there's a problem. So if other tickets are opened that reference the website, you'll know that there's an open issue going on somewhere, which I think is just great. We can also see that there's a tier associated with this website as well, tier 1. So all right, and then down here, I've also got all of my linked issues as well. And then at the very bottom, which is super cool, I've got changes that are outstanding against that affected service as well. So if I've got a change ticket open somewhere else, that's also going to start appearing here as well, which is going to be really helpful for knowing and providing context around this particular outage. So already a lot of value added here. I know that this is a big problem, so I'm going to create what's called a major incident. I'm going to come up here and click on this little guy waving for help. I'm going to make a major incident, and then I just need to fill in just a little bit more information. It already copies the services, it copies the messages. Now I need to give it a priority. This is a critical priority, and I'm going to call it a Sev1. It's not quite a Sev0. And this now creates a major incident, and it also says, would you like to link the other tickets to the major incident? Yes, I would. Now, everything I'm about to show you currently exists over in Opsgenie, but it's eventually going to get pulled, and very, very soon, I believe, over into Jira Service Management, which is great. So let me come to our major incident section. And we've got the new major incident that we made. So let's go ahead and hop over into Opsgenie right now. So again, all the incident management stuff, that's going to get pulled over into Jira Service Management. And the alerting side of this is going to stay over here in Opsgenie. So speaking of alerts, let me just take a moment to show you Opsgenie's real purpose. When I come to alerts, I see all of the alerts that have been created recently. And I can see that website is down. These two alerts were created when I made that major incident a moment ago. And what's happened is the relating team that is responsible for the service associated with the incident, so the website, the IT ops team is the responding team. So they have an official notification out there. It has gone to the person on call. If they don't acknowledge this within 5 minutes, it's going to go to the next person on call. And if they don't acknowledge it in 5 minutes, it's going to go to the whole team. You can also see on the background that I've got heartbeats connected to our web service as well. And this went off long before the ticket got notified. And this heartbeat has also notified the IT ops team. And something cool you can do here is you can actually set up shortcut actions here straight from the alerts. So you can hard code in like an AWS restart sequence and just activate that right from the alert if you want to. And there's also all kinds of other things. So if I hop in here, we can see the responders, we can see the activity log, who got emailed, when they got, if that email ever got read. We can see that somebody disabled their notifications, and then we can also see responder states as well. So a lot going on there. Also, speaking of responders, we can come over to Teams, and we can click on the IT Ops team, and this is where we see all of our routing rules. So I've got one rule that says if it's greater than P3, so if it's priority 2 or 1, it runs through this escalation policy. Otherwise, it just gets sent to the person on call and stops there. So if I have a critical event, like I do right now, it's going to run through this previously mentioned escalation policy. First, it goes to the person on call. 5 minutes later, it goes to the next IT ops schedule person. And after that, it goes to the whole team. And each team gets to choose, like you saw, how they receive their notifications. One of my team members has turned his notifications completely off, but they can get push notifications, SMS, phone calls, email, or all of them if they'd like. And then I've got the on-call schedule down here. So actually, it turns out that I'm on call right now. And so in our situation, we made a schedule that has alternating people on call during the day, and then one person has nights for a week, and then one person has a weekend. And then we rotate the nights and we rotate the weekends. But you can make whatever schedule you want. All right. So speaking of alerting your team, it's also important to alert your customers with what's going on. So if I switch to status page for a moment, I can come over here, and this is sort of the front door that all of my internal or external, depending on how you configure it, all of those stakeholders are going to get notifications about this problem. So I can come here and I can create a new incident, or I can have one automatically created. Website is not responding. And we are currently investigating this. I can put out a message, something nice and politically correct. Please sit tight. and I can choose affected components, and I can send notifications to everybody that is a subscriber to this service. And in this case, I've got a major outage, and create. So now anybody can come to the front page of Statuspage, and we will see the website is not responding, investigating, please sit tight. They can subscribe to this. They can subscribe to all updates. This is a really great product for just letting people know what's up and also deflecting tickets. If I come back to the back end, I can also make periodic updates. So we identified it, and then I can send a new message, and then I can update people, and then we can be monitoring it after it's been fixed, and I can, put it back to operational, for example. All right, so back to the incident though. All the way back here. Let's come to incidents. So Opsgenie now, JSM in the future, has this incident command center. And this is what it looks like. So the first thing I see is I've got the name of my incident here. I've got the description copied over from that original ticket that was sent. And then it also picked up the affected service here, and it added the responder team. And I can add other impacted services as we start identifying more problems. And again, I'm going to dive into services more in a little bit, and especially how they relate to code repos, because they're really cool. And here I can, even click on that service. I can hop over, take a look at it, and see all the information about that service. I can see who the owning team is. I can see relationships. I can see the status. I can see related incidents on that service historically. So I can, maybe trace a pattern of problems we're having. There's a lot going on here. All right, potential causes. I love this section. Let's investigate a potential cause. So because it's the website, and because I've got a code repo hooked up to that service, this is showing me a timeline of deployments in that repo, basically deployments and pipelines. So here I had a successful deployment on December 13th, but I had a failed deployment a few minutes ago. I think in reality we would have a successful deployment that then caused a change, but either way, you can see the difference now on this timeline. And I can click into that, and I can see I can see that I made a commit and I updated index.html. That caused a problem. So I can select this as a potential cause. And now when I hop back to the incident, I've got a failed deployment potential cause identified in this command center. Anybody coming here can see what's up. And I can see the code repo it's on. And actually, if I hop back there for a minute, hop back to the deployment, you can even see the failed deployment here as well, which is pretty cool. You can also do things like you can even redeploy right here from that as well. Then I've got extra properties. I've got linked software issues. So let's say once I identify the problem, I can create an issue for the appropriate team. And maybe it's an emergency bug fix issue that I create, goes over into Jira. I can also see related Jira Service Management requests. And I can also say, hey, when we close this, make sure we do a postmortem. Over here, I've got the communication section condensed into 2 tabs because of the size of my screen right now. First, I've got details. So I can go to an incident command center, which opens up a conference bridge, or we can use the tools of our company's choice. I can create incident status updates and send them to the subscribed stakeholders of that service in Jira. I can also see all of the alerts that have gone off to my teams, and I can see my responders. I can assign a role. So in this case, I'm going to be the incident commander, and I'm also going to add my coworker Elizabeth, who is a subject matter expert. She knows all about the website, so she's going to do that. We can bring in scribes, communication officers, all that stuff. Meanwhile, there's a timeline going on over here. And I can see when the incident was opened, when the roles were assigned. I can also add additional events here. So as we discover things, I can add an entry, and this all helps with our postmortem later. Also, if I refresh, you'll be able to see that the we've got impact duration and elapsed time, and we can update impact detected so we can get better metrics on this as well. So again, a lot going on here in this incident command center. So let's assume that we have fixed the bug, and we made a related bug in a team project. We fixed the bug. The incident is over. I can resolve the incident here. And then the post-mortem reminder hops up right way to the top, and I can go ahead and create a post-mortem here. Well, that happens. Oh, here we go. It's loading. So I can add information about lead up, fault detection, root causes, mitigation, resolution, lessons learned or learnt. And then I've got all the details. I've got the timeline. But I would prefer to finish this up in Confluence. So I can come here and I can say export to Confluence. And I've got one already made over here. So web store is down, postmortem report. So this is Confluence, a different Atlassian product. It's their documentation tool. And here I've got all the information pulled from that incident. I've got the priority, the affected services, the incident duration, responders, responder roles. And then I've got all of that information you saw that I could be editing over there. And then it also drops in a Confluence gadget that is an Opsgenie timeline, and it shows all of that information here, as well as a full attachment showing me incident duration, participants, summaries, that kind of stuff. Neat. Also, I guess the last thing that I would do is I would come over to my open incidents back in my queue, and I would close my primary ticket as well, and then transition that to done. All right. And also I would want to make sure to update and say that everything is resolved in Statuspage. All right, let me close all those. That was a lot of tabs there. Okay, and let's look at our third and final demo today. Whew. Okay, so change management. I like calling it change enablement. Sounds a lot less bureaucratic. This is for change managers, developers. I think you don't often think of change management as really supporting developers, but today we're going to see that it really will. So what is our challenge? Well, we want to mitigate risk, we want to coordinate changes, and we want to ease bureaucratic effort, because people often experience a slow change management process. It's a lot of manual work, and it can be really risky because of that bureaucracy and all of that manual work. So what we want to do is set up automated risk assessment, automated ticket creation, and where we can, automated ticket resolution. And specifically for this demo, we're going to be using Jira Service Management, Bitbucket, and automation for Jira. Let's dive right in. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is show you a basic change management ticket. If you have no automation, nothing connected, you can always come to the portal and you can go to servers and infrastructure and you can request a change. And this can be a totally customized form for your business. We can have a summary description, services that we're affecting our change on, change type, standard, normal, emergency, change impact, urgency, change risk, change reason, and then implementation plan, backup plan, test plan, plan start, plan end, change start, change it, all that information. My preference is to have people make change tickets over in Confluence. I really like that a lot, but yeah. So also, if I'm in my right, I just got lost for a second. Okay, so other things you can do is that if we're back in the portal, let me get there, back to my change management project here. One thing that Atlassian added recently is a change calendar, which I find quite helpful. So here, all of the open and closed changes are going to show up on a calendar here. So I've got 4 different planned changes coming up. You can also use change tickets to create change holds on this calendar if you want. And as you click in, you can see what's happening, what the planned start end is. Once you update the actual change dates, the ticket moves to its appropriate area. You can also, if you're here, you can make a new change ticket automatically. You can also drag these around. There's a drag and drop feature now, which is quite nice. Or if you don't like that built-in change calendar, you could always make one over here in Confluence using team calendars for Confluence, and you could pull in all of your changes as well. So here I've got them in green, and I've got other system maintenance and freeze change items here as well. So you can do a change calendar either way. I like both ways right now. There's also a Confluence change template. So this is the one that I was talking about a moment ago. Rather than filling it all out on the portal in one shot, you could make a Confluence document using the change template that's available in the box. And here it's got summary. You can add the linked change request ticket over in Jira Service Management. You can denote the status here if you want. You can add related issues. You can add, drivers, impacted services, blockers, service owner, technical review, reporter, change approvers, informed stakeholders. And then you can drop your whole change plan in here. You can drop in change implementation risks, communications details, PIRs afterwards if you want. So a lot going on there. And of course, you can customize that template for your own business needs as well. So that's the manual change process. I don't like that nearly as much as automated change. So how do we do automated change to speed up our change management process? Well, here I've got a sample Scrum project story, and I need to add Euro to my payroll currency options. No problem. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my payroll repo. And by the way, this issue key is SSP32. So I'm going to come to my payroll repo here, Expium demo payroll, and I'm going to make a change to a file. So let's just basically this is just simulating a commit, but straight from Bitbucket. So let's go ahead and pull out this additional text here, make that commit, and I'm going to make sure to reference that ticket that represents in Jira the commit that I'm making. Great. First thing that's happening on the back end is if I refresh over here, this has been Jira functionality for years, but all of the development work that I'm doing, I now see a commit against this story back in Jira, which is nice. And I can hop right in. I can see all the commits, all the pull requests, all the builds, deployments, branches, everything relating to this story. All right. So meanwhile, if I come to my IT Service Desk queues and I go to closed changes, and if I refresh, hopefully this has happened on the back end. Sometimes it takes a little while. Yeah, there's always a delay with this one for some reason. Well, look, let me explain to you what's happening in the background. So I made a change relating to a service that is a tier 2 or below service. You can see, yeah, this is why. The deployment pipeline is still running in the background. Hopefully it's going to speed up so I can show you the coolness of this demo. Come on, deploy. This is where I got a vamp, and I don't really have anything prepped to talk about. Well, maybe I can start talking about services. So let me come over into the IT Service Desk, and I'll show you services in a new tab. Okay, so services are these things that you create in Jira. And like I said earlier, they relate over to Opsgenie and also Jira. And each service has an associated tier. So for example, the website is a tier 1 and the payroll system that I'm trying to do an update on right now is tier 3. So let's look at the payroll service. Well, specifically, I've got relationships. So, and I can also add a list of change approvers. I can add a list of incident responders. I can add my tier. I can connect it to a specific service desk or project. And I can also connect that service to a specific code repo as well. So let's see. Good, it deployed. All right, so now if I refresh in my service desk, what we see here is I have a deployment 15 Expium demo payroll master branch to production created today, and a lot of things happen in the background. So let me just open this up. So first, the commit over in Bitbucket triggered the creation of this ticket. I didn't make this change ticket. And a bunch of automations ran in the background. It saw that it was a payroll affected change. Therefore, it's a standard change because it's not a tier 1. The change risk is low. So it basically automatically calculated change risk. Because the service has an approvers group, all of the approvers got added to this ticket. And then because it was a low risk standard change, another automation went ahead and pushed it through, automatically approved and automatically closed the change ticket. So rather than the developer having to open the ticket, wait for approval, because it's a standard change, you don't need to go through CAB, and then close the ticket, all of that happened in the background without their work. So just imagine how many potentially hundreds of hours you're going to save your developers by doing this. I think this is really cool. All right, but what happens if I have a normal change, not a standard change this time, but a normal change on a tier 1 system? So let's come to our mobile app, which is considered a tier 1 service. And I'm gonna make a commit by modifying this README file over here in this other repo. So Brian, let's just add my last name, Brian Dar commit. Make that commit. And then, much like before, I'm going to have to vamp for a minute because our pipeline is now automatically running. We can see it in progress here. We can click in and see how it's going. Queuing up to build. Meanwhile, I'm going to close my other things here. Pulling the images. And we're going to see a problem in a moment. I know the suspense is killing everyone, right? Here we go. There we go. Excellent. So this is a tier 1 service. This is a normal change, not a standard change. It knows that it has to have an approved change request with it. So now, if I come over to my service queue and refresh, we see deployment 10 for XT Mobile App Branch Master waiting for authorization. It's a normal change type. So let's open it up and see what happened in the background. Well, the same automation that ran before that set the change risk looked at the service tier, looked at the type of change, and said, hey, that's a really important service, so this is a critical change. And I'm sorry, critical risk change. And critical risk changes require approvals. So it also automatically added the appropriate approvers. They all got emails. I'm an approver. I'm going to go ahead and approve this. Great. And whenever we're ready to implement, I'm going to move it to implementing. And then Bitbucket over in the background understands that I did that and now says, okay, I'm going to complete my deployment. So there you have a manual change request, an automated standard change that didn't have deployment gating, and now this one is an automated normal change with gated deployment, all using interconnected tools and automation. Whew. Okay, that's it for the demos. Let me get back to my slides and wrap this up with some Q&A. Before I do Q&A, I want to officially kind of close this down because some people want to hang around for Q&A, some people don't. So first of all, thank you very much for coming. I hope you found this to be useful. I hope it gave you some ideas for ways that you can configure this for your own environment. If you need any help configuring this for your environment, we'd be happy to talk. You can reach out to me, brian.dar@expium.com, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn through that QR code. Happy to answer questions for you. Also, if you liked this webinar, we have a bunch of other ones coming up too. Today's was Jira Service Management for ITSM, December 16th. Next, let's see, January 6th, we've got an introduction to Jira Align. The week after, we've got an introduction to portfolio management in Jira. That's one that I do where we demonstrate Jira Align and advanced roadmaps, and we talk about some other options as well. Oh, and I just saw that our coordinators popped in expium.com/events. Yeah, all the events you see here are on that website in the chat. We also do an intro to Confluence. We've got a paid Jira Bootcamp and Confluence Bootcamp class. This is for administrators and power users if you want to understand more about the inner workings of Jira and Confluence. We've got an Atlassian for business teams webinar. This is where we talk about HR and facilities and basically non-tech teams and how they can get the most out of Atlassian through work management, stuff like that. We have a governance webinar. We have a webinar about how to get started on a cloud migration if you're on server or data center and looking to move to cloud, particularly if you want all these nice ITSM functionality that you saw today. And then we start again with Jira Service Management Fundamentals on February 17th. So we'll do Q&A in just a second, but thank you again for attending. I really appreciate your kind attention. I hope you really enjoyed this or at least got some value out of it. And thanks again for coming. All right, questions. I missed how you got to the CMDB. Okay, so that was back in, so if I'm in Jira and if I come to Insight and view object schema, we made a schema that's called CMDB. And then we set up Insight Discovery to crawl the network to find all these pieces and automatically add them into the CMDB. So that's how that works. Is the change calendar only available in Service Desk? And is it available in Data Center? So like 90% of what I showed you today is only in cloud, at least for like the different ITSM ticket types. You can reproduce a lot of this in Data Center, but a lot of the background, like services, aren't in Data Center yet. I don't know if they're going to go to Data Center or not. They've been really heavily cloud first on all of the ITSM stuff. But you can always make a change calendar in Data Center using team calendars for Confluence, and then you can pull in Jira tickets. We also make an app actually that does calendar exports. So it'll take Jira tickets with dates and send them to like an iCal feed if you want. And if you want to, feel free to email me. We can talk about solutions specifically for your company for a lot of this, because we do build a lot of this outside of the Atlassian ecosystem, especially because we have that development shop next door. Is it possible to attach documents to objects in Insight? Yeah. Let's just come to this object here, and there should be attachments. I know that, oh, there we go. Yeah, here we go. Attach files. So we can add things to those objects here as well. I work a lot in Data Center too, and so it's always hard to go back and forth and remember what's where on the screen. All right, any other questions? Well, then thank you all very much again for your kind attention. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.